So today in chapter 17, we're going to look at the first 5 verses. Now, I've been telling you that these last 3 chapters, chapters 15, 16, and 17, are very, very important to the book of John because they're unique to this gospel. If we didn't have this gospel, we wouldn't know this information. We wouldn't have this, including this prayer that's going to happen in chapter 17. So, when John wrote this book, when he looked at his audience and he said, they need to know this stuff about Jesus that they don't know or they've missed or they don't understand. They need to know these stories. He went out of his way to make sure that we have this information. That tells you some things about why he wrote this book. There are some things in these 3 chapters that his audience didn't know or didn't understand. Maybe we don't know. Maybe we don't understand them. Maybe we've missed them. Okay? Maybe there's some ideas here that we've thoroughly, completely, totally missed. So we're spending time looking at these 3 chapters in detail. In chapter 17, verse 1. After Jesus said this, he looked toward heaven and prayed, Father, the time has come. Glorify your Son, that your Son may glorify you. For you granted him authority over all men, that he might give eternal life to all those you have given to him. Now, this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you sent. I have brought you glory on earth by completing the work you gave to me. And now, Father, glorify me in your presence with the glory I had with you before the world began. When you think of Jesus praying after the Lord's Supper, when he's in Gethsemane, this is not the prayer you think of. You think of him being in anguish. Remember? Sweating drops of blood, praying, may this cup pass from me. Well, here's a prayer that you need to hear about, that Jesus prayed in that situation. And interesting enough, he told you he wasn't on his knees. He looked up to heaven and he said, this is it. This is it, God. You brought me here for this purpose, and now it's happening. Some interesting words in there. Glorify. Glorify. But that's not what we're going to focus on today. What we're going to focus on is, this is eternal life. This is eternal life. Recently there's been a movie out called The Invention of Lying. I just saw it hit Redbox the other day. Okay, I happened to see it. I wasn't very impressed with the movie, but in this movie this guy was learning to make up stories, and he tried to make up a story to make his mom feel comfortable as she was dying. And the world was just, because they assumed everything he said was true. And what he was doing was trying to comfort his mother, that there's more to life and things are going to be better, as she lie dying. And according to the movie, it was a lie. But what do you know about eternal life? What do you know? What do you envision? What comes to your mind when you think of eternal life? We're going to go over Jordan. I'm going over Jordan to be home. I'm going to see mom, see dad, see family. Those are great, great pictures, right? Some groups, you can get some pretty interesting things happen. You know, if you die in a religious war, then you're going to have, I don't know how many virgins. Is that your concept of eternal life? Is it the pictures that you have in the book of Revelation? The gold hill, the pearl gates, is that what you picture eternal? Do you think you're going to be sitting on a cloud with a harp? Do you? Yeah. It'd be kind of fun sitting on a cloud. But they have the wings in case they, Do you think you're going to have wings? What do you think of when you think of eternal life? There maybe you don't think much about it at all. Maybe you don't think much about it. John's audience, the people that this gospel was written to, have been told some things about eternal life. And it had to do with secrets they were supposed to learn, and advances they were supposed to make, and how they could become more spiritual at this stage and then become more spiritual at that stage. And they had some misconceptions about what eternal life is. And Jesus just lays it out here. John says, I want you to know this is what Jesus says about eternal life. This is eternal life, that they know you, the only true God. And then he says, and that they know your Son, Jesus Christ. Did Jesus actually say that? Did he have to use his own two names? By the way, those aren't his two names. Okay, Christ is not his last name. Okay, Christ is the term for Messiah, the chosen one. Okay, Jesus the Messiah. And it didn't even sound like Jesus. But anyway, it doesn't matter to you. But the truth is, John wanted them to know that knowing Jesus is the same as knowing the Father, the one true God. That is what the book of the Gospel of John is about. There's nothing hidden. There are no shadows. There are no secrets. You see Jesus, you see God. You know Jesus, you know God. Is that what you consider eternal life? That's what Jesus says it is. This is eternal life, that they know you. Now, let's talk about it. In order to understand life, you need to understand death. And death is an interesting word. It comes from a word that just means separation. That's what the word means. When you die, your body and your soul will be separated. That's how we know you're dead, and you're dead all over, like Rover. Okay? Your soul is not with your body anymore. The second death, eternal death, spiritual death, is separation from your Creator, God. Well, if death is defined as separation, how would you define life? Well, it's that unity. It's that relationship. And it's a very intimate word for relationship. That they know you, the only true God. Now, if that's eternal life, when does it start? When does the clock start ticking? When do you have to start paying rent? No, you don't have to care. Do you have to wait till the physical death to have eternal life? No. No, that was Jesus' point. If you know Jesus and if you had that relationship with Him, you have it now. You have eternal life now. You have that relationship. You have that intimacy with God. That makes your relationship with God pretty important. Doesn't it? I mean, that's pretty much what we're about here, isn't it? We're not gathering hours for credits. We're not accumulating points or getting stamps they can put in the book. Okay? We're here because of a relationship with God. And why are we here? Well, because there's some things about relationships we need to know. And I could talk to you all day long about relationships, but if you've never had one, do you have any idea what I'm talking about? I could talk to you all day long about having a deep, intimate relationship with God, but if you've never had a deep, intimate relationship with anybody, what's that going to mean?